Hey, everybody, I'm Brian.
I'm Joey.
And I'm Wes.
Welcome to episode 111 of Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt. Come on along, everybody. Spend the next hour or so with Joey, Wes, and I, and our guest Justin tonight, talking about gravel bikes, adventure biking, bike packing, bike camping, whoring out over bike bags, because that's what we're going to do, and just playing bikes. Tonight, like I said, we're going to talk about bags. Our guest tonight is Justin Sirotin from Route Werks, and he's going to talk about his crowdfunding of what I think is a pretty amazing handlebar bag.
Oh, yeah.
So welcome, Justin. We're glad to have you here.
Thanks, guys.
We're going to do just a little bit house cleaning before we...
Is it housekeeping or cleaning?
Well, I don't know. I'm a little bit off my game tonight. Housekeeping. Thank you, Joey. Before we jump into bag talk. But first off, anybody drinking anything tonight? Who's got what?
I got an old-fashioned I just whipped up before this.
Is it that same fancy one you had last week?
No, it's not like a real old-fashioned.
Like a real one.
Not whatever I have in my fridge mixed with alcohol.
Anybody else?
Justin had a cup of vodka. That was crazy.
It's a cup of vodka. Yeah, it's like, 4 fingers of vodka.
Oh, God.
Nice.
He's not even home right now. That's going to be a long drive.
No.
And we know Wes has been drinking all day because
Well-
he just got off work.
I had to doll up my vodka. I've got an orange crush.
Oh,
Oh.
nice.
Yeah.
Good job. Anybody got anything to catch up this week? Joey, you got a couple things.
I did actually in show notes. I regretted putting this in here as we have Justin on tonight. It was literally 2 days before we had Baron on. I ordered a Swift Industries bag.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay. Did it come in?
It showed up.
Yeah.
But I do have a really bad bag addiction, Justin, so don't worry. I have multiple bikes. So
Yeah. Joey and I both have that same addiction.
I did. Well, the problem is I sold a bag from them I really liked. I didn't get the same bag I wanted, but I got a bag because they were doing some blowout. However, I fell in love when Baron was on, so that's a no questions asked. So I did get a bag. I don't know how much I'll, use it. I don't have too much. I mean, that was my big thing I didn't say last week.
Yeah.
I like the bag. It uses the same X-Pack material Nittany has that matches my other stuff.
You've been laying down the Zwift miles, too. I've seen that.
I've been Zwifting.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't really have much to talk about shop life. And then I do want to say I sent all my Valentine's Day gifts to my brother-in-law's house on accident. I don't know how that happened. So my brother-in-law got all my wife's.
You sent all of Jess's gifts to New Jersey?
I did some stuff off Shutterfly and all. And for some reason, the address book, I got some really cool stuff. I'm going to be very proud when she actually gets it.
Okay, yeah, sure.
All into my brother-in-law's house. I didn't know until they're like, your stuff's been delivered. And I'm like, oh, because for Christmas, we sent my mother-in-law a picture.
Yeah.
Went to his house because she lives up there in Jersey. And I didn't realize Shutterfly used this. That's my funny story of the week.
God.
I feel like that's all I have. I won't muck it up, so that's about it.
What about you, Wes? You been on your bike?
No, it's like 8 and snowing and I don't have a trainer.
Are you in Texas right now?
No, we finished our spare bedroom, so I'm pretty excited about that. So now there's less shit in here from last time.
Me, nothing. Just a lot of Zwift miles. I'm eager for
my wife's
spring.
in here now too.
I'm eager for spring. We got an email, you guys. I want to jump through real quick from Janine. Enjoyed your tire talk last week, and I was wondering, what are your thoughts on having a 650B wheel set for gravel and a 700C wheel set for more road-type tires? I read some things that doing this would mean the bike fit would be pretty similar because the wheel circumference would be pretty close. I don't know that it's really a wheel circumference.
The one thing we didn't really bring up in our whole wheel chat, and I'll kind of hopefully open and close us with it, not every bike is technically designed to be ridden with both wheel sizes.
Okay.
I mean, people do it, but there's some, you talk to some manufacturers and they don't recommend switching the wheel size out. I'm sure it's fine. Double check that too.
Right.
First, but I think that totally makes sense.
But you could also, if you got the clearance, you could put a second set of wheels together.
Yeah.
If you've got clearance to go big for a gravel bike, then you can obviously put something that's a little more roadish. In fact, I did that with Carrie's Diverge.
Yeah.
A set of road
my
wheels.
wife's Diverge is like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
My Sequoia just does everything, but no, my wife just said this should be on how many bags I buy. So like I said, double check just to make sure. There's some bikes that don't actually ride well
Right.
with 650. I think anything newer now, they kind of think that, they keep that in mind. I know when we were doing mosaics and stuff, that was a big thing. It was the early days, like a couple years ago, of gravel, and like they were specifically talking about like one design was not meant for that wheel size.
Right.
So it all depends.
So what I'm hearing is in her email she asked specifically
Yeah.
about 650B versus 700.
Yeah.
But it could actually be that you just, like you said, go ahead and throw a second set of wheels together that are geared or that have a different
If it's
style tire.
applicable, whatever,
Yeah,
I can't talk,
yeah,
applicable. I don't know, that makes sense.
So and if
So,
you can do 650,
A lot of
then
people that do that.
why not?
Yeah.
Okay. Wes, you got anything to chime in on that?
Yeah, I think Joey hit it. I mean,
Yeah.
what your bike manufacturers say, I mean, certain bikes can do certain things and they're not going to handle right with a different
Yeah.
wheel size on them. So
Yeah. Joe, you want to run through Strava Club real quick before we get
Strava
to
Club,
Justin?
and then we will get to Justin. All right, let me see. I got a lot of stuff up here. All right, handpicked all these. Number 1 was Miss Nadine Hughes out of Lusby, Maryland. Miss Local Nadine, 345.5 miles last week.
Hey, Dean.
She killed it.
She crushed it last week. Holy cow.
Oh, you guys,
It's a Dirty Kitten influence. It's what it is.
yeah. Oh, you guys are all idiots. I'll tell you that. Trainers were not meant to be ridden like 400 miles like you guys were doing. And you guys all complain about saddle.
I
A lot of people complain about saddle stuff.
Yeah.
That's because you're riding your trainer for 400 miles.
Did you see what Ted did last week?
That's what. Yeah.
Ted did like close to, or he did over 400 miles,
Yeah.
I think, right around 400 miles. Like,
is Ted okay?
Something wrong with these
we
people.
wonder. We wonder.
Yeah.
Dave Easily with a more considerable, respectable amount with 136.7 miles out of Oklahoma City,
Good job, Dave.
one of our Oklahomies. And then John Gray from Chesapeake, Virginia with 146.4. We're only a mile off from last week by like 0.7 miles. 116.3 was our top 100.
Okay.
And we're above 700 at 703.
Oh, picked up some people.
And our
Good job.
Strava club is strava.com/clubs/gravel travel dirt.
Good deal. Congratulations, Nadine, Dave, and John, and everybody. Crushing
Psychos,
miles in
yeah.
February. And that Dirty Kitten thing, I mean, so Justin, so some of us are involved with the Dirty Kitten is doing a winter training series. It's
a local gravel race.
the Dirty Kitten is a group out of Frederick, Maryland, but I think they're nationwide. I think
Oh, yeah.
Dirty Kitten is
It's
big.
how does she do it? It's I mean, she rides for Vanderkitten, which is a
Vanderkitten.
national thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and Alex and Chris
Alex, yeah,
started
Chris.
this winter series where for like the first 3 months of the year they've got tours and stages and challenges and mileage. And
people are
distance and
bonkers.
elevation.
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
absolutely nuts. I have never. These people are going to hit the ground running in spring though. Holy
I told you two
cow.
things. They'll either do that or they'll be burnt out.
They'll burn out. Yeah,
Yeah.
it could happen. I actually think that March will slow down a little bit for the trainer perspective because
Nice
people are
job.
going to start getting back outdoors, and
Hey,
that's
Travis.
going to change things.
All right.
Okay,
Let's
so
get to Justin.
Let's get to Justin. Justin, welcome to the show. Thank you for sitting through that first like 10 minutes or so of us just kind of
Damn, it
rambling.
was like a half hour he sat through.
I appreciate that. So welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
So Justin is the founder of Route Werks, and you've probably seen them on the internet. They have got a handlebar bag that is absolutely probably
Real nice, Clark.
spot on, and maybe one of the most innovative kind
Yeah.
of front bags that I've seen. But before we dive into that, Justin, give us a little bit of your bike background.
So I'm old and started riding bikes when gravel was a flat bar bike with no suspension that you rode on trails. And it's like this funny, we've gone all the way around again. We just put drop bars on the bikes that we used to ride when I first started riding. So I as a kid was a casual enthusiast, and then I moved to the UK for a year for college, and I bought this crappy, I don't even know what brand it was. I think it was like a Mongoose or something. It was a fully rigid bike, and I got caught up in this group that was doing cyclocross races, and they let me in with a non-cyclocross bike because
Okay.
it was pretty unsanctioned. And I just mucked around on that bike for like that season, whatever that was. And in the UK, I mean, they don't really have winter, so they'll just roll all the time. And I just crashed a lot on that bike. I put my first set of clipless pedals on that bike, and I would just crash and crash and crash. But when I got home, I was hooked.
What year was that? Because I sold Mongoose bikes back in the late
that was
80s.
That was 1994.
Okay, yeah.
And I didn't have any money, so I bought like whatever the cheapest version of the rigid mountain bike that I could find. That's what I bought. What's that?
What are you riding these days?
So these days I have a Sirotin tie bike that I roll around on, which I heard you guys talking about two wheel sizes. I roll multiple wheel sets, so I've got 3 wheel sets.
Okay.
And I swap the wheels instead of swapping the bike. So instead of having, my wife would not be super psyched about like 1 million bikes in the house. So I just have a lot of wheel sets, and gets me off.
You found the answer to that, then, haven't you? That actually is the real answer.
Because wheel sets, you can hide wheel sets. Like you could put those anywhere.
Uh-huh.
It's hard to hide another bike.
Yeah. That's actually brilliant. That's a great way to approach that problem. That N+1 problem.
Yeah. So I just like, and it's become like a little bit of a weird. I just bought another wheel set, so I have a new wheel set showing up in March. But so that bike I run a couple different wheel sets, and on those wheel sets I'll go from like pure road over to the biggest tire I can handle is a 38 millimeter gravel tire.
Mm-hmm.
So that's as big as I can get. So I actually just ordered a new bike.
I give you all this credit for that, and then you just broke the mold, but that's okay.
I know
those wheels can move.
But I gotten to this point where like I'm off road as much as I'm on road, and 38 millimeters is a pretty narrow tire, and you're when you're sitting on that tire for a really, really long time, you kind of go, okay, well it'd be really nice if I could have 1.9s on here or something.
A little more volume. Yeah. I
just bought a Tommy. So he builds them out of Austin, Texas, little custom steel builder. And it's a 650B bike that I'm building. I'm really short, so I'm only like 5'6". So a 650B bike on a road frame fits me perfectly, whereas I get tons of toe overlap on a 700C bike.
Yeah.
Just because I'm not that tall, and so we've all like sort of drifted into this space where like 700C is what a road bike is, but for people under like 5'6", a 650B bike, when you look at that looks normal size.
Yeah, we had
our frames are so little.
Last week we were talking about the 36-inch wheels on that curve bike, that little prototype thing, and that looks so freakishly weird.
Crazy.
Just bizarre. Just bizarre.
Did you see Shaq's bike? Bike from Thompson?
Yeah.
Got those 36s on it.
Real quick, I forgot to talk about it. Wes was at the shop when it actually got built. We have a customer with a Surly Krampus with 32-inch wheels on it. You build them on unicycle platform rims, and that's in for service right now. The day after we talked about 36, I sent you a picture of it.
I know you sent me a picture of it, but it's still there.
It looks ridiculous, and then you think of 36.
I like to come in and look at that. I was going to come into the shop today.
Oh, it's still there.
Really good.
Yeah, sorry.
So Justin, where do you do most of your riding? What part of the country are you in, and what kind of riding do you do there?
I live in Rhode Island, which is not Long Island. It's a state nestled between Massachusetts and Connecticut, and it's a little sort of hidden gem. I mean, we have everything. We've got coastal communities where you can go for real long flat rides. We've got pretty pitchy little rides that'll get you some elevation, but not high elevation, but at least you can do some climbing. And then you don't have to go very far north to get into some half decent mountains. So if you hop into Vermont, you can really hurt yourself if you want to.
I led a tour up in that area. With COVID, everything runs together. It was 2019. It was fall 2019. Yeah. I did a 5-state tour from Maine through New Hampshire, Vermont, beautiful. And it was really absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we've got some great terrain here, and there's a lot of gravel here in Rhode Island. We got, being in old New England, you have all these roads that are called paper roads. So they're a road on paper. Literally, they're on a map. They're a road on paper, but you don't really drive on them. And
Interesting.
on your bike, you can explore all these paper roads, and sometimes you accidentally end up in like people's yards and in somebody's farm somewhere. But it's I have a couple people that I go out with, and one guy's got like the entire state of Rhode Island mapped in his brain, and he can just like, oh, we just go here, and then we go there, and then we go here, and you don't need a computer, you don't need anything. You just go with it. So
yeah,
it's pretty great.
I was actually asked to scout that route, and I went up and drove it, and came back, and I told everybody that was, I had little, it was like a group of like 12 or 14 people, and I called them all individually, and I was like, talk to me about your bike, what are you riding? And it was like, well, I'm bringing my tri-bike. It's like, no, that's not a good idea.
No way.
Let's not do that. And yet I still had somebody show up with one, and that ended up to be a long 3 weeks for that particular individual.
That's a long 3 weeks. I mean, you go do like, you go up into like the Middlebury area, and you go do some of those gaps up there. And I mean, there's a couple gaps that are some of the steepest roads in the country.
Wow.
And, like, it's much faster to just walk. And you get a lot of, me included, where you're going up,
Right.
You're going up a hill like this in a road, just trying to get to the top and not get off your bike. But the reality is, it's just way easier to walk.
Right. So let's get to what we're all here to talk about, and that's that magnificent, beautiful little bag that's sitting behind you there on the desk. Give us a little bit of the backstory, and where did this idea come from for this bag?
Sure. So this idea started about 3 years ago, where I started doing longer and longer rides. I run a company that's a product design company. So I have a product development agency that I've been in that business for a long time, and I've had this company running for about 12 years. And one of the other guys who works with me is a encyclopedia of cycling knowledge and an absolutely brilliant designer. And he makes his own. They're more like rando bags.
Okay.
So he makes his own, and he has, his bicycle collection is enormous, 15, 20 bikes.
That's a lot of wheels.
And they're all like beautiful, immaculate, custom, gorgeous bicycles. And he just kept showing up day after day, week after week, with all these custom bags that he built. And they were all very complicated, but like thoughtful, considered bags. And he and I do these long rides, and I have this little burrito bag that I had bought to just keep stuff in it. And I just was complaining about it. And I don't exactly know like the moment when it started, but we both kind of just said, I think we could make a better handlebar bag than this. And so that was sort of the beginnings of it. And, the business that we run is about finding solutions in categories that have opportunities to have new things happen in them. And so we noodled on it. And then the irony is, without COVID, we probably aren't here, because it allowed us the time to like really focus on this, because it's a big push. It's a lot of effort to go through and put something out there. So, that business waned as COVID came on. And so we just reallocated a whole bunch of resources and just said, okay, let's just see if we can make something happen here.
You got to pivot.
And so
you got to pivot. Yeah.
So starting in like April, we piled on a bunch of people, and we're a pretty self-sufficient group. So we did it all ourselves. We designed it, engineered it, sourced it, helped with production. We did all the marketing. We did all the content creation. We did everything here. We have a friend who did some video work. And we have a team that helps us with some of the social media side. But otherwise, it's all done with this team, and they're like super amazing. And we were able to pull this thing off.
That's cool. That is super cool. Now let's take a look at the bag.
Yeah.
Everybody's we've talked so much about it. Just bring that puppy up here. It's the first time we've had a show and tell, right, Joey? Can you think of another show and tell?
I brought tires.
Yeah.
we
Not as
made
good.
this little photo prop so that we could photograph it. But the premise is pretty basic, which is if you think about the way that most bags are designed, they define how you use them through their embodiment, right? So pick any bag, and it's telling you how to use the bag. A burrito bag has a definition. A bike packing bag that's a roll top bag or a side roll bag has a definition. So what we try to do is make a bag that's more adaptive to the person who's riding versus dictating how to be used.
Okay.
So I can sort of land that tangibly. So if you're somebody who's going to go out and ride with a phone, so I currently have a quad lock mount on it. We don't really care what computer you use. So I can put a quad lock mount on the top, and then I can just mount my phone using quad locks. This is a pain when you're not on your bike.
I'm a quad lock user. I know exactly what you're talking about.
There we go. So now I got my phone on there because I'm a phone user. But if I want to, I can pull this quad lock mount off this bag because it just mounts from the underside with two little screw bolts, which you probably can't see, but they're right there.
Right.
And I can put any computer on the market that carries one of those little quick release mounts. So here is Garmin, Brighton, Wahoo. Like we just put a Hammerhead on. Any computer you want, you can mount it to the front of the bag. And so that's what I mean by adapting to whatever it is that you decide you want to use your bag for.
And you guys call that dashboard, right? Wasn't that the term?
Yeah,
the
so we built
terminology?
this. Yeah, we call it a dashboard just because it allows you to sort of set up the top of the bag however you see fit. So in this case, like I threw a light on here because I can. So we have these little handlebar stubbies that we call them. We literally call it the handlebar stub. And you just bolt it to the side of the bag, and now you can mount other accessories to the bag itself. Because one of the challenges you have for all of us who've ridden with bags that have some height to them, as soon as you put the bag on, if you throw a light on your bar, the light obstructs the bag, obstructs the light.
Right.
Yeah.
So we just tried to think through like, okay, what are all the scenarios that people might want to use a bag to do? So they want to ride at night. They want to have a computer. They want to be able to get access to the stuff while they're riding. They want to be able to have expansion. They want to be able to hold things that aren't in the bag while they're moving. And this isn't all new. Like we're adapting, you know, you had mentioned that you bought a Swift bag.
Yeah.
We got tons of those bags in here. Like those are great bags, but they oftentimes require a specific bike for you to use them properly, right?
Yeah.
You need a rack that can handle that bag. So we said, okay, well, what if you just didn't need anything? And we just let you figure this out for yourself. So the other like really key piece of this was that we wanted you to be able to get in and out of your bag while you're riding. So like if I just flip this little lever here and this just opens and I can be cruising along and I can go in and out of my bag.
That's so cool.
And get whatever I want. And then we've got, this will be a little tricky for me to show, but we've got some pockets in it that are meant for certain things. So obviously like this is meant for a phone, but it could be whatever you want. Put your glasses in there. I don't know, do whatever you want. This will hold tools. It'll hold a granola bar. It'll hold all kinds of goodies. And then in here, we just have this little strap.
Holy cow.
So when you get somewhere and you decide, this is sort of based on a little bit more of like,
God, it's so badass.
we're in Providence, Rhode Island, where you have a really big cycling community and a lot of people who don't just commute. Like it's a part of the fabric of the way that people get around and do things. So we thought like, okay, well, if we want to just take this off entirely, then you have some way to carry it. But this is all removable. So if you don't want this, you can just take it off.
How did that remove from the handlebar mount? That was clever. That was fast. It was seamless.
I didn't even see it.
That's sort of the
I just realized that.
what I'll call key intellectual property, which is that we basically built this little mount, which you can see mounted the front of this bar setup. And then that sits on a pretty familiar looking mechanism, right? So that's just like a quick release skewer. So as I rotate this, I close a jaw and I grab that. And so for me to put this on, you know, is literally just a matter of going up to my bike and hooking it on one of the key things that we wanted to make sure would happen is that when you put it on, if you didn't mount it, it will stay on the bike.
Oh,
So it doesn't fall off and hit your wheel. And then all you're going to do is flip this little lever and it's locked. And so now, I can just hold the bike with the bag.
You know what I really like is that even if you don't have the bag on the bike, that little mount is so minimal that you wouldn't even, it doesn't mess up the aesthetic or the, it's not in the way.
That was part of the plan was like, if you want to use this, the reality is like, I had this funny instance. This was a long time ago, and we were doing some really early testing. And I'm riding along, and I'm going up this little gravel hill, kind of out in the sticks. And these three guys, who are they're unloading their bikes, and they all had bags on the front of their bikes, some bigger, some smaller. And so I just stopped my bike, I rolled back, and I was like, "We're working on this project. What's in your bag? Like, we just want to know, like, what do you put in your bag?"
What are you carrying?
And all three of them said nothing. Like, what do you mean nothing? I'm like, well, it's too big of a pain in the ass to take the bag off. And this is a short ride today, so I don't have anything in my bag. But I use it all the time. I just today
there's nothing in
don't have anything in the bag. And so that was part of like what spurred this whole thing where you're just going, okay, well, there's probably a lot of people like that. So why don't we just make the bag just come off in an instant? All your valuables are in the bag anyway. Pop the bag off. If you're going into a pub or a coffee shop or whatever, you just pop the bag off and take it with you. And then you're not like going into the bag and pulling out your wallet and pulling out your phone and stuff in your pockets and leaving. You just grab the bag. And so that was the motivation.
Well, so I go through a lot of bags. I have a bag scale. They actually fix a lot of stuff I've had with a previous company I just talked about, with the Garmin mount, the lights, the little bits. I have a rando bag now. Hypothetically speaking, how much bacon could you fit in that thing? It's kind of like a theme. So, a lot of bacon. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of bacon. I mean, we've tested this bag with 5 kilos of stuff in it on a shake machine for 36 hours.
Wow.
Holy cow.
That's a lot of bacon.
Dang.
That's a lot of bacon, Joe. It's a bit of a running joke.
Yeah.
How much bacon or pierogies can you fit in a bag?
You'd kind of have to roll them a little bit to get it to. I mean, is the bacon still packaged?
Oh no, cooked bacon.
Because the bacon is not packaged. You could get a cooked bacon.
Yeah. So you could crumble it. You get a lot of bacon.
Crumble, edible while you ride.
Because since you could open up the bag with one hand, you could just dig in and get a whole handful of bacon. Brilliant, Joey.
Well, I used to do a lot of night riding with mine, and my one bag I did love, but this has greatly improved. But I would ride up to like Taco Bell before I rode home, and I would put a lot of tacos in a bag, and that's how I would go off of bag size for a while. Yeah. It sounds stupid, but
I don't know exactly if like the width of our bag is like dimensionally accurate enough to hold a taco, but if it did, you could just sort of stack them this way. And maybe you get a couple of rows out of it.
There's some burritos.
I don't know. Burritos for sure. We've got a photo that we put in if you watch our Kickstarter video. I don't know if we edited it out. We had a photo in our Kickstarter video of a burrito coming out of a burrito bag. And then we put that burrito in our bag, and we're like, look, it fits great.
But it was funny, the things I did bring up really quick are big things I had to adapt to. I never really saw them as problems until I saw them as problems, like the light, the Swift. I had to use this big old click mount that was huge. Yeah. It was gaudy if the bag wasn't on there and then stuff moving around. You couldn't open it easily. Like, you literally figured out all the small details. Yeah. With the light and everything.
I mean, I literally just looked this up, so I know this number off the top of my head because I was talking to another Kickstarter, a guy who's putting a Kickstarter in place, and he was sort of asking about like how much time you spent, and because of our other business where we keep track of our hours, that's how we bill our time. Mm-hmm. I have it all on record, so we've got like 4,700 hours.
Wow.
Into the bag, the marketing, the content, but still 4,700 hours over like a year and a half is a lot of hours.
Yeah, that's a lot of effort.
It just, this takes a long time, and it's we put a lot of effort into it, and now like we've just kind of hit the starting line. Like we just got our first set. This is I got this bag shipped from our factory, and I received it last week, Friday. We've got more of them that arrived today. But this is like, we're at the starting line. Like we're just kind of getting this thing off the ground.
So can I don't want to jump ahead and rush, or we have all the time we want technically. So someone like ourselves that are interested, I saw you're like pre-selling your Kickstarter stuff. Will the next opportunity be for the next batch of bags? And can you talk about the price really quick? Because I think someone asked.
Yeah. So, okay. So the way that these are all risks that you take. What we did is we used Kickstarter to not only get our word out so that people like you know that we exist, but effectively the Kickstarter money that we raised, all it let us do was not borrow more money, not fundraise, and allowed us to build inventory for the spring.
Okay.
So with the Kickstarter money, we're able to fulfill the entire Kickstarter order, and then we'll have inventory ready for people to purchase bags starting March 1.
Oh, sweet.
Okay, cool.
So the Kickstarter, we're trying to be really considerate of the people who are good enough to put money in our hands with this promissory note that says eventually you're going to get a bag. It's like this funny thing. Like Kickstarter's a weird world, right? Like somebody hands you money and you kind of just, I mean, I've backed plenty of Kickstarters. I never got anything.
Yeah.
And so it's a little bit of a double-edged sword. So we just said, okay, well, we're going to be really considerate about making sure that the first round of bags, those are just designated for Kickstarter people. The next batch is then we took pre-orders for about 2.5, 3 months. So those people did the same. Like they trusted us with that money, and we're going to fulfill those. And then we'll open the web store to sell inventory to the general public. So that we're targeting March 1 to open the web store. If it's not March 1, it'll be March 5. It's like we need to make sure that all of the people who've already paid for bags, those have all left our warehouse, and then we'll open the web store and let anybody who wants to buy that buy that.
Gotcha.
So,
Price point. What was the price point on that one?
what was the what? I'm sorry.
The price point.
So this is $179 for the bag, and then we have this little kit pack of accessories that let us let you do whatever you want with it. So the base bag's $179, and it comes with a mount that basically lets you pick your technology mount that you want to put on it. So we don't dictate what we partnered with Barfly because they got everything, and Keith's nice and he's easy to work with, and that was really helpful. And so when we didn't, when you're first starting out, it's like anybody who's nice to you, you're like, yeah, okay, we'll work with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so Keith's been really easy to deal with, and so he just said, you tell me how many you want and I'll ship them to you. And
that's awesome.
So we basically work with all of the Barfly kit, everything in there. And then we had this funny experience where Quad Lock is a Kickstarter project, right? That's where they got their start. And I just direct messaged them like 40 times until somebody responded.
Yeah.
And then, as it turned out, we're one of the first in this, what they call Quad Lock integrated.
Oh, that's cool.
And so we're on the phone with this engineer in Australia, and he's like telling us, well, we don't really have a price sheet. We don't really have a program, but we got this, we can do this thing. Like I can just sell you just the top. And I was like, okay, yeah, sell us just the top. And so then we engineered the bottom.
Oh.
They sell us the mechanism. We put them together, and then we make this SKU for people to put it on our bag.
Okay.
But I think we're the first, which is kind of cool.
So I wondered about that because I'm a Quad Lock user too on the phone. I use it when I fish because I use the little ring on the back to do the tether, and I use it on the bike. It's fantastic from a tour perspective. It's sort of a game changer for me.
Yeah.
And when I saw you had that Quad Lock mount, I was like, well, they've thought of it all.
So with I guess like with that, and what do you get when you buy the bag? So are you selling the mount and then you buy anything from Barfly, or does it come with it?
No, we're giving you this, So this is a 3D printed little object, right?
Yep.
So that little mount
Yep.
mounts into our hole that's in here.
Yep.
And then this accepts whatever barfly mount you want to put on it.
Okay. So do you buy the barfly mount yourself?
You buy the barfly
Okay.
mount yourself.
Yeah. Sorry.
You
That's
just
what.
say, I'm a Garmin user, I'm a Wahoo
Yeah.
user, I'm a Brighton user.
Makes
I'm
it
a
easy.
whatever,
Just go buy it.
Lozine.
Yep.
Go buy it.
Okay.
So we're going to stock 2. We're going to stock Garmin and Wahoo.
Okay.
And then we on our website we say, like, if you want another one, here's
Gotcha.
Keith's website. Just go buy from him.
Okay.
And so trying to keep it as flexible as we can. We also then can work with, this isn't really a standard, but K-Edge style mounts. We have a separate, this is a prototype part because I don't have a production one, but we have this little machined aluminum plate, and that drops in here, and that lets us work with any of the K-Edge mounts. So if you have K-Edge, if you're in the K-Edge system, you can stay in the K-Edge system. If you're in the barfly system, you can stay in the barfly system. If you're nothing, you pick. And
Okay.
you know, we're hoping that gives enough flexibility that anybody who wants to mount whatever they want to can just figure it out.
Wes.
What type of materials can we see like used throughout the bag? Waterproof? Like, what are we looking at there? And what kind of colors, man? Like,
colors. Everybody wants lots of colors.
yeah.
Colors are tricky because there's minimum order quantities to buy material, and that
Sure.
minimum order quantity drives how many colors you can have. So we have 2 colors to start. We have this green, and
Home run.
we have black.
Yeah,
Yeah.
over the fence with
Perfect.
that one.
And
Yeah.
and oddly enough, you know, when we did it, we were like, you never know what people are going to buy. But our sales are 2-to-1 black to green. We've sold 2,300 bags. We're almost to the number, like dead on 2-to-1.
Wow.
And there will be more colors now that we have a little confidence and we know, like,
Yeah.
we're not going to eat 300 whatever colored bags. We're gonna add more colors. But to start, we were like, how about one color?
And
you know, like.
the inside is the same as the outside color?
The inside is not the same.
Oh.
So the inside is, let's see if we can get this. See
There it
that
is.
like check pattern there?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so this was first started by the guy that I mentioned who makes all these really amazing, beautiful bags for himself. Like, he just started sewing up bags, and they all came in with these cool interior colors because that's what he likes. And what occurred to us was twofold. One, on a black bag with a black interior at night, it's real hard to find stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we built a little contrast in there, so at least it's a little easier to find stuff. It's not super bright, but it's easier. And it just adds a little bit of like fun to it, you know, to just kind of like change up the interior color so that you have an inside and an outside. But we've learned a lot about sourcing fabric and what that means when you have multiple colors. So.
It would be pretty easy to reverse engineer it. It looks like the bag is, it's built that you can kind of play with it, I feel like, you know, because all the parts,
Yes.
I've seen all the parts can kind of be replaceable. And
Yep.
It-
That's
it-
a really, yeah. Sorry, I
a
cut you
little
off.
small LED light inside of there you'd probably find plenty of room for that. You could kind of play with that aftermarket and kind of, you know, tinker with it a little bit.
We could put it right here.
Yeah, yeah. There you go,
Yeah.
Ted. I know that's right up Ted's alley. Reverse engineer that and drop an LED light in there, and maybe a battery
Yeah, I mean,
charger.
one thing I didn't mention, which you had mentioned that you like to use your quad lock while you're touring. If you're using mapping apps, you know what they do to your battery.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the reasons why this bag is here is because you can pop a battery in here. You tether it to your phone. So if you look carefully, I don't have a cord here. I probably do, actually. I probably have a cord. No, I don't have a cord here. But if you look carefully underneath the bottom of the bag here, there's like a little gap between the lid and the bag itself.
Genius.
So you can run the cord out of this little bag, and you can just plug your phone in.
Yeah.
And so your phone stays charged
Yeah.
on a really, really long ride. And you just carry your battery, and the battery is intentionally attached to the lid. So as you open the lid, the battery, the cord, and the phone all stay together.
They move
and
together.
So you don't have like cords. You don't have like cords in your bag. So I don't know. We tried to think of as many scenarios that you might want to use the bag with, and then include those in a way that give you the option to use them however you see fit.
Now, one of the things I've noticed when I was looking at some of the videos online is the stability of the bag, is that it doesn't bounce. So it actually would be an awesome platform for a GoPro as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we have a GoPro mount that you can put on here, and if you look on our Instagram, you'll see a couple videos that we've shot and a couple shots that we've taken of GoPros on the bag. Works great.
Wow.
You can shoot the bag back at you. You can shoot back at yourself. You can shoot out. We're actually thinking about doing a shoot where we put one of the 360 cameras on the bag.
Sure.
And then just cruise around with it, but like, we just haven't done it yet. It's like there's so many other things to do right now. But it's pretty stable. I mean, because it's a rigid mount. It's not a strapped on bag. It's a rigid mount. So
my big like wow thing is the light knob. What did you call that? Like the thingamajigger kind of
Stub,
yeah.
light stub.
Yeah. Handlebar stub.
What those will be in the store too. That's through you.
Yeah, those are through us. So these are custom. And the reason why we really didn't want to make these, but the reason why they're custom,
they're
it's
awesome.
like a weird balance. It's a weird balance because making everything custom is risky, but if you don't, then you compromise how it behaves, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
the reason why these are custom, if you look really carefully, so those two little teeth on there.
Yeah.
So those teeth mate with features on the side of the bag, so this can't rotate. So when you put your light on there, you can adjust your light, but then the bar doesn't rotate. And once it's on, it's on.
But you guys literally figured out all of the weird, like the little things you don't realize until you're like, oh man,
if you think about it, if you grab hold of that light to rotate that light too much, and
I
all of a sudden the little stub is loose and it goes flying.
I have one of those problem solver ones because of my
you
bag.
back the screw out.
Yeah,
That's what happens.
And then your light just.
So
then your light starts spinning.
Yeah.
One more question from me, and then I'd like to, Joey, can you look into the chat and see if we've got any questions we want to back up from them?
Yeah.
Can you buy a separate mount so that I can put that bag on multiple bikes?
Yeah.
So I can throw it on my Diverge today, my Roubaix tomorrow.
Yeah. So I might have a sample somewhere.
Right, that was a good question.
This is just its own. This is just its own thing. So you can buy this.
Okay.
So it comes with one of these.
Yep.
It comes with one. So it comes with everything you need to put it on your bike. And then if you decide, in fact, through Kickstarter, I'd say about 25% of the people who bought the bag added this as a separate thing. So they have two bikes, one bag, and you just hot swap between your bikes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And because this thing sort of disappears, I mean, it doesn't literally disappear, but it sort of disappears up against your stem.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Your bike doesn't look whacked with that little plate sitting on there.
Yeah.
And I'd say about maybe 75% of the people who bought a bag bought at least one of these. In many cases, they bought two.
Nice.
That's where they all go together.
Yeah.
So do you offer financing? So because I feel like there's going to be a really giant bill for me here.
Oh.
It gets a little expensive. It's funny. Pricing's this funny thing. Like this, the guy who was working on this with me was like, you can get sort of philosophical about how you look at pricing, and the reality is like the bag costs a lot to make.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And the engineering
and
and
so
the
it's
R&D
like
and all that. Yeah.
That's it. Like the bag costs a lot to make. You have to charge enough to pay for that bag, and everybody that you sell to wants a piece of it.
So
you're like, okay.
Yeah, as a bag aficionado, that's not a lot.
No.
For what you get, holy cow, that's not a lot.
I don't think it's a lot.
No.
I mean, bags are expensive. As somebody who Joey and I are like bag
you get what you
nuts.
pay for. Like, I feel like this is the most engineered, well thought out bag I've seen though. And that's not buttering. It's just all the little things.
I want to point on something that Ted said. If you take the bag off and you've got just the mount there, is there any opportunity to say, okay, now I want to attach a little gizmo so that I can put my computer on there without the bag?
Can you check back in like a month?
Okay. Good. You got good IP attorneys. I used to do that. Used to move in that world, and it was always like, yes, we've thought about that. So
check back in a month, maybe a little less.
Yeah.
In a month or so. I have one. Yes. The answer to that is yes.
Okay.
I have one.
Nice.
But I think I am the only person in the world that has one right now.
And it was
but
Ted.
there will be.
It
I
was,
see that. Yeah.
It was Ted that had that question, and I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I wouldn't expect anything less from Ted.
Yeah, so we're certainly we have certainly considered that, and actually it was in the roadmap to try to finish it during the Kickstarter, and we were so buried that we all just said, okay, just stop.
Yeah.
Like, so I actually broke one.
Okay.
The first version, I broke it, and so that was where we were like, okay, this is the real project. It's not like we're not just going to whip this together.
Right.
So
let's
just pause.
It's its own thing.
It's its own
Joey,
little
any
thing,
questions out of the chat that might want to hit on?
I'm gonna sort through them real quick because some of them I think we've already brought back up.
Real quick, is it waterproof, or how water resistant is it?
It's very water resistant. It is not water. Don't go swimming with it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've been out in torrential downpours, and because it's all this is overlapped, right? So obviously this lid is waterproof because it's good and solid. Then we have it'll be hard to see, but these little O-rings here that live under these fasteners, those are gaskets so that there's no water that gets in through the top here. And then this is a overlapping lip that runs all the way around. So when I close this up, I have about 4 millimeters of overlap between the top here and the inside of the bag. So the only way you're going to get water in there is if you can get that water to go up fast, real fast. You theoretically could get some little.
Wes could figure that out.
Yeah,
Wes could
Wes-
figure
no
Wes could
problem.
figure
Don't
out how
worry.
to
Yeah.
get water to go a different direction
Yeah.
than it should. But
I mean, I've been out in some super heavy rains, and actually we were doing some testing early on, and we were just like, how do you even test for this? And then ironically, Rhode Island had the largest drought in like 50 years. And so we had so then the way we started testing, I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to turn the hose on.
Yeah.
So we just put the bag down and you just spray the hose, and you're trying to like get water in it. And we certainly made some changes to make sure that we did not get water in it. So I would call it highly water resistant.
there you go.
And the material itself this is sewn with 2 layers of fabric. So this is a 500E Cordura on the outside. And then it's this ripstop on the inside. So by the time in order to get water all the way through, you got to get through 2 layers of fabric, which basically means you've just set it in a pool and you've waited for a while. And then eventually you'll get some water in it. But,
So
it'll be okay.
You need a belt buckle attachment so you could take it off the bike and put it on buckle like a fanny pack.
Genius.
Wes.
Like the strap is cool, but I mean, I'd wear it on my belt any day.
Yeah. The other thing I didn't mention, which was a really key piece of this, like we're all sort of stung by this idea that stuff wears out and then you can't do anything with it, you just chuck it. So this doesn't have any zippers other than that top bag. And so we use snaps and we use screws. So if you happen to, let's just say for some reason you smash it in the lid and the lid breaks, which you'd have to hit it super hard, but it's theoretically possible. You just pull these 4 bolts off and we can ship you a new lid and you can just keep going. And so the same goes for the mount. The mount is just 4 bolts. So if for some reason you break your mount, we can just undo it and ship you a new one. And you can, that goes for everything on the bag, other than the physicality of the sewn goods, which would be hard to replace if you did something there. But everything else is replaceable, and it's serviceable. If you can turn an Allen wrench, you can service the bag. So that was
Any questions? Any questions from the live stream, Joey?
Pockets on the outside? Yeah, there are pockets on the outside.
Yep.
They're little. We actually
that's
made
cute.
up this little latch. So there's the pocket, and okay, you ready? I like doing this little demo. Oh, hold on, let me get the brake out of the way. It's open.
Oh, because it's
So
got
all
a little latch on the
cute
bungee.
there.
So the bungee is your quick release. Ready? Let's see. Get the lighting in there. Okay, right there.
There we
okay,
go.
ready?
Oh, it's like on a lever.
Yep.
Nice.
So that's an expandable pocket. So that'll hold certainly holds tools, holds granola bars, holds
I don't think Joey will fit.
patch kits.
It's for your road
So-
finds.
Yeah. So I mean, it's but we invented that little clip. We filed for patents on it for no good reason.
Because you can. I
Yes,
love
we can.
Junkyard Dog. I don't know who that is, but sticker zone on the lid. I love that idea.
Yeah.
Having something
Yeah.
hard you can put stickers on.
Oh.
That's
Yeah. You
yeah,
can sticker this if you want.
yeah.
And you can also like do some fun things. I don't have my gloves or anything, but when it's cold and you're cruising along,
Does it
you
shrink?
want to get something out of here, right? And you like got gloves on. You just take your glove and you just shove it under here, and then
Oh,
you go
nice.
into your bag. You get what you want, and then you pull it out and you put your glove back on. So,
Mm.
um,
It's probably one of the
yeah,
most
so-
well thought
Yeah.
out handlebar bags that I can't wait to see, because I don't think
Oh.
this is the end. I can't wait to see what other bags you guys can come up with.
Yeah.
this is definitely not the end. We have
So
we have
well
a roadmap
engineered.
that's probably bigger than our financial appetite.
That's awesome.
right now.
That's awesome. That's
This is
awesome.
amazing.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris and Travis, I am drinking Makers tonight. We can try that when I get the bag. Talk
Yeah.
about putting.
They wanted to put a bladder of Makers in
Yeah.
there. See how much liquor it would hold.
That is my
how much
favorite.
whiskey.
I
I
think
don't
we've
know how
actually.
many liters. How many liters it'll hold? A whole lot.
I'll find out for you. And the bacon, I'll let you know. I think Ted was asking about multiple mounts on the thing or on the top. Sorry, I'm reading through the. I guess if you maybe wanted to run a GoPro and a computer or a quad lock, he'll probably.
That's like 4 or 5 months. He has to come back in 4
Okay.
or 5 months for
Okay.
that one.
Seems
that's
like you
also
have
on the
everything
plan.
figured out. It's just there's a time frame to it.
I don't know about that, but certainly that one. That's one that we've seen because there's so many people that'll go out there with a computer and a phone, or
Brian.
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
who knows what. Like people put a lot of stuff on there, and so we have some thoughts about how we're going to accommodate that scenario because we've got a pretty rigid system inside here. Like this is.
Yeah.
This frame is metal under there, so that lets you do a lot. Yeah, he could print one. Ted, you can do that.
Yeah.
That's true. You can make your own.
Uh,
Once you get it,
yeah.
you'll see it's really simple.
I can't wait to go back because I haven't been able to follow the live stream chat.
Yeah, I'm
I
trying
want
to
to
get
actually
there.
go back and watch it again because there's all these comments. It's like, bottle openers, all this stuff. I mean, this guy's
Saw that.
it's cool. This is super cool.
Oh, the bottle opener mount. That's the only thing we haven't seen yet.
Yeah. That's
so
probably
we don't
somehow.
we don't have a bottle opener as a part of the bag, but we got a lot of places you can stash one.
Yeah.
You can bring your own. Somebody just asked if you don't have a computer, it comes with a cap, and so it's just plain on the top.
I already thought about it.
Yeah.
Geniuses.
And so you just that's how it actually arrives to you. It shows up with nothing,
Ah.
and so then you choose. Okay, I'm going to put a computer or not.
Real quick before we wrap this up, because we're I don't want to. You're at your office too, and we have this or that. But Alex says that's ironic. We are hosting a bag preem for this
Prime.
week's the dirty. What? It's
Bag
preem.
prime. Okay.
It's a preem. You ever been to an event?
Oh, no. Okay.
Jeez, Brian. No. So they're doing a for the Dirty Kitten Challenge we're talking about. They're doing a bag preem this week. I don't know.
Yeah.
Thought that was cool. So
Jerry wants to know if the lid can double as a cutting board.
probably
Okay. We're
they probably have already tried it.
we're gonna. Hey Justin, thank
about
you,
that.
thank you so
Yeah.
very much for we've had you for a very long time here
Yeah.
tonight, but a deep dive on that bag, and
Yeah,
I mean,
thanks for letting me talk about it.
bravo, well done.
Yeah,
So every
thank you.
week we do our
Really
this or
excited.
that's, and if you've watched or listened to the podcast, you probably know what they are. We'd enjoy for you to stick around with us and do this or that's. We hope that you'll want to play along. So we're going to dive right into that. This would be the order of business. Justin, we're going to ask you to answer first, then Joey, then me, and then Wes will bring it home. And then if live stream folks, we obviously want to have you guys play along as well. So we'll circle back on that at the end. First item up on this week's This or That. Would you rather do a flat 150-mile gravel grinder or 65 gravel miles in Pennsylvania climbing with over 7,500 feet of elevation?
65 with 7,500 all day, every day.
Ooh.
No. Yeah.
Scary, man.
Joey?
I don't know. I wrote that because that's my decision to make this week or two. Because I was like, oh, let's get some good input. Because within a week span, I have 2 events I got to pick from.
We need to do our event schedule.
I actually have to because of my employer.
And I need to
At
do
the
it
bike shop.
for the other business. I need to schedule my
Yeah.
guide time.
I don't know. See, that's tough, though.
Uh-huh.
Riding that flat, that's not easy.
You talking about what's 150 flat?
The Holly Shelter? 120, 150 or whatever?
That's 150?
It's 120 or 150.
It's long. But Holly Shelter.
It's
I think.
long. It is there's
Flat
no
as
elevation.
It's like Croatan.
Yeah.
It's like Croatan.
Or you kind of hunker down. You go up, you got to go down too.
Yeah.
So you know,
I kind of like the ups and downs.
I don't know. I'm going
Where
to
you
leave that
at,
as a
though?
blank.
You're not even going to answer it?
I'm almost leaning the flat. I'm
have to
fat.
answer it.
Flat for
You
fat.
have to. I'm with Wes. You have to answer.
Yeah.
Oh,
It is-
answer
I might-
it.
The
Answer
flat was
it.
kind of mind numbing though. I'll go climb for now
I would definitely go
because I can talk about it. I'm not actually doing.
I would go with climb because that people always get this misconception of when something's
Oh,
flat,
flat
it's
is
easy.
not
Flat,
easy.
you're always on the pedal. It's
I'm
like
saying
riding a trainer. You're always on the
The
pedal.
flat's double the distance of the climbing,
Yeah,
but
I'll take the downs. Wes, where are you at?
I don't think my tukas could handle 150 miles. I gotta go 65.
Well, we may have
Well-
some directional duties for you, Wes.
yeah, time on saddle for that one might be about the same though.
Yeah. Anything in the where are we at with live
Oh,
stream?
sorry,
Who answers that?
Let's
I think most
see.
everybody said climb.
Yeah, Ted said
Yeah.
screw 150. Give me the
Michael
climb.
Reese said flat, but I think Michael's from down there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, thanks Alex. I got my haircut.
Oh wait, is it 65 miles just straight up? There's no up or down. Just
No, it's up
only
and down. Up and
Yeah.
down. 65. It's Pennsylvania. You know Pennsylvania. It's
Yeah.
up and down,
I'm just wondering. I
There's
don't know
no
what kind of
flat
situation we're
Pennsylvania.
building.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Other than I think Michael, it was Ted. No, Ted even said.
Yeah. Everybody wants to climb.
Yep.
Everybody wants to climb. Second item on this week's This or That: the Big Mac or the Whopper.
Do I have to? I think if you made me pick, I'd probably my nostalgia would push me to a Big Mac.
Okay. Joey.
I actually the smokehouse whatever flavor of the Whopper. Just I don't know.
It's flame broiled.
Flame broiled, yeah. I also watched that movie about the McDonald's owners with Michael Keaton this weekend,
Okay.
and that made me hate McDonald's.
Okay.
Did not end with a good ending. It was a straight movie. I hate McDonald's, but the spicy nuggets are back. I'm gonna go Whopper.
I don't know. I think I would go Whopper as well, but I feel like the onions and the tomatoes and the lettuce and everything you get on the Whopper is a little bit fresher than the Big Mac is because that's like chopped up lettuce and little teeny tiny onions. I just feel like there's more like
Wasn't lettuce on the
regular,
old McDonald's burger.
What was it?
There was no lettuce. It's all in the movie.
I would go
Big Mac.
Whopper. Wes
Yeah, Wes loves McDonald's.
2-2. 2-2.
is so tied up.
Whopper.
Where's the live stream at?
Special. Let's see. Chris said special sauce. Michael Reese Big Mac. Ted Whopper with mac sauce. Junkyard Dog said Whopper with arm bent. Jerry said Whopper. Eddie said Whopper. Sal said Big Mac.
Sal's here. What's up, Sal?
Sal got a new bike today. Salsa. Ron said Big Mac, and then Alex said tacos.
Tacos. Not fair, Alex.
Yeah,
That's not the way
tacos.
you play the game.
I'd go Wendy's though if I really had to pick.
I'm with you. I'd go Wendy's if I had
Wendy's.
to pick.
Wendy's.
I would go White Castle. You guys suck.
Third item up on this week's This or That. Would you rather be unable to ever use search engines like Google again or never be able to use social media ever again?
Am I exempt from this question?
No, you're
This is
not.
easy.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty old, which means social media is very easy to walk away from. Very easy.
Joey?
I think
But-
Justin may be
he's
my
still
soulmate.
talking.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's it. It's easy. There's no social media needed in my life.
I'm gonna go without social. I am very close to being a Wes. Like Justin West deleted everything. Like
he's
Wes
done.
probably melted his fingerprints by now. Like he has no trace.
I was sitting here bitching before the podcast to Joey going, how do I hell even send the Zoom invite to Wes? I got to go email.
Other than our podcast and my store stuff,
Yeah.
I have forced myself off of social media, which other than a little Instagram, same thing for store.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
I don't like being glued to it.
I could never give up the search engine.
I use about 400 times a day.
That's literally like the mind of the internet. It's like the hive. You can't separate yourself from the hive. I could give up social media. In fact, I mean, I don't use it except
I don't believe it.
Well, I don't use it except for business. It's been hard for me to get away from it from a business perspective.
You got to do all those patches every week from the club.
You got to start putting ads in the paper, Brian.
Ads in the paper.
yeah.
Hey, print is dead, Wes.
Print is back.
It is dead.
Wes, where are you at?
Oh, this one's easy, man.
Wes did basically
the only
disappear.
trouble with getting rid of the search engine is like, man, that thing just proves me wrong all the time. Like I'm like, oh, I can totally prove you wrong. I'm like, oh, never right.
No.
Anytime I look at an answer.
So Wes, what is your search engine of choice?
Oh, Google. That one's easy.
Oh, I thought you were going to come up with like Ask Jeeves or something like that.
There's like an Ask Duck or like DuckDuckGoose.com.
DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently people really like that. I haven't tried it because
Yeah.
I guess Google really reads all your information. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
Oh yeah, they really.
I haven't tried it.
Yeah. What's a live? Where's the live stream at?
Oh, everyone here is old like us.
Social.
I bet Wes
yeah.
uses Bing.
Yeah.
Oh, forget social. I don't know if YouTube. I'm on YouTube a lot, but
YouTube count as? I guess it does count as a social.
yeah.
We do a lot of the YouTube stuff.
I quit it. Shakes. Bring back.
Bring print back. Thank you.
Oh,
Ron.
MySpace. Does MySpace count?
No, MySpace is.
You
I
got
don't
Tom over there.
Yeah. Okay.
Last one.
Fourth item on this week's This or That: a hearty breakfast or a hearty dinner on a bikepacking trip.
I think it's a dinner. I think the breakfast, you're gonna eat all day anyway.
Yeah.
I think it's a dinner.
Joey?
That sort of lands the day.
Yeah. You know what happens when we go on a trip, even on a daily go. I am chugging down the Pepto and everything before we go. So if I eat a big breakfast, it's not going to be a good day. A nice hearty dinner, it just feels good. It's something to look forward to.
You don't want Joey to have a big meal until the end of the day. that's when you want to have Joey to have a meal. I'm with you though. I'd rather have the dinner because breakfast, when you get up and you're breaking camp,
Too much to do.
There's too much other stuff going on. I've gotten to the granola bar. It's like you eat it. You could just flip open your handy dandy Route Werks bag and just grab some granola out of it while you're on the
Beef
road.
jerky, pick it up off the ground, some trash.
Yeah.
Bacon,
Don't even worry about it. So I would definitely go with dinner.
bacon and Swedish fish
Yeah.
all day.
That's a good combo, though.
Wes?
He probably thinks we're weird down here.
Oh, dinner for sure. Yeah,
Dinner.
no reason to cook in the morning. That's silly. Get up and go.
You remember those trips we'd go with Tom, and he would bring like bacon and eggs. He would actually pack eggs, and
It was
he'd have
amazing.
steak and all sorts of crazy stuff. Of course, he had an 80-pound trailer with him too. But.
I think I'm gonna have a dinner date with the Howells. Like me and Jess love breakfast for dinner. So
We
nice
do that all the
breakfast
time.
for dinner.
Yeah, we do that
Yeah.
too. We do that quite a bit.
Yeah, and dinner just gives you something to look forward to.
Random. Back to a question there. We will put the link to Route Werks in the show notes and in the show description, so that you'll be able to get directly to them. Michael asked that right there. So yeah. Anything else you guys got? That kind of wraps us up tonight.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. What did the live stream say? I think I saw a lot of dinners.
Yeah, it was. No one voted for breakfast.
Yeah.
You need more controversial this or that.
Well,
We were
Joey
I
wrote
came
it.
up with them.
brunch.
Yeah.
Lunch?
You got one brunch.
Yeah.
But no dinners. But nothing. No breakfast.
Yeah.
Oh, there's somebody. Michael's got breakfast.
We
We
always
don't
say
know
that
him.
when we're on tour. It's you would do second breakfast is what you do. You'd have like that first little thing, and then when you're on the bike all day, you would do second breakfast. So and then you'd do first lunch and second lunch, and on down the line.
All right,
Jeez.
J.R.R. Tolkien.
You guys got anything else before we shut this down, Joey?
Oh, what did I write in here? I wrote something.
You did Holly Shelter.
But what did I write about that? That's the problem.
It's my life. It's welcome to my life.
I don't know.
Okay,
I forgot why I wrote that.
I don't know. Wes, what about you? You got anything before we wrap it up?
Oh,
I don't know. Good to be here.
I would say, depending on the rain, I am going down to North Carolina this weekend to see my other best friend, Dan, before he moves. If it's dry, I'm going to ride that loop once or so.
Oh, you're gonna ride Holly Shelter?
Yeah, but if it's been this, it might be a little messy.
Yeah,
so
you're gonna have
I'm going to
to do that.
go red fishing one day and ride the next.
Yeah. Okay, folks, thanks for listening to this episode of Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt, and thank you, Justin, for joining us tonight. A fascinating
Thanks,
conversation. Very much appreciate you being here. Folks, this is a listener-supported podcast by some incredible, amazing people on Patreon and or PayPal. If you are one of those folks, thank you very much from the bottom of our hearts. You keep us going. Our show can be found wherever you find your favorite podcast. I'm going to let you guys fight about this tonight. Joey,
Wes can do it.
Wes is going to do it? Yep. Wes?
I don't want to do it. I'm not doing it.
You got to do it now. Oh,
nope.
He's going to do it.
Our website is at gravel.
No, back off. It's graveltraveldirt.com.
Step out my space. Okay, Wes, go ahead. How can folks get in touch with us?
Well, graveltraveldirt.com is, first of all, get yourself good internet connection because you're going to need it because we've got video on the front page, and that's silly, but we have it anyway. And then we got rid of Instagram because we got rid of social media. We've agreed tonight we're going cold turkey. Our Instagram is gone, so don't worry about it. But if you happen to find it, it's at Mid-Atlantic GTD. And I don't even know why we're going to advertise our phone number because apparently nobody gives us a voicemail anymore.
Nope, never happens.
Never happens, so make it happen next week, people. And if you don't, then I will never come back. Phone number is 410-231-3850.
We should see who can do the best drunk dial.
I'm going to see if I can lead by fear. We'll get it going.
I still want to give out Wes's cell phone number.
It is on our website.
Is it really?
You can find all our phone numbers on our website, and I get a lot of random texts.
You cannot find our phone numbers on the website.
Hold my beer. I don't drink beer anymore, but
Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt is recorded this week from right here in Joey's kitchen, all the way up to Michigan, all the way up to Long Island. Just kidding, Rhode Island.
I love those iced teas.
Thanks, everybody, for riding along with us. Until next time, you know what? Do good, be nice, go slow, respect others, stay healthy.
Love you, bye.
love you, bye.
Love you, bye. Thanks,
Hey, Brian,
Justin.
look.